Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Vickie's Country Home. Yesterday I made my chicken, spinach, and potato soup, and it was pretty much out of leftovers and pantry items. And funny, my dear friend Mrs. Lori at Whipporwill Holler made a video the same day, and she put together a meal from her leftovers in her pantry. And I thought it was so funny, but she also made kind of a challenge saying, you know what, you should always try and use your leftovers and whatever's there and put together a meal. I agree, Lori. So this is my answer to you. So tonight I was trying to figure out what to make for dinner, supper in your terms, and I didn't know what I wanted to make, so I decided to take up your challenge. So tonight we're going to have a jar of my pinto beans and a jar of my home canned beef. I'm going to put those together and heat them up and have them in a flour tortilla with some cheese, and it's going to be really good. But I decided that wasn't enough, and so something I always keep on hand for Shayna, because she just loves it, is to make bean chalupas. People would call them tostadas, but in Texas they were chalupas. And so it's a flat tortilla, and we're going to use some refried beans. I'm not making my own tonight, I could. Some onion and cheese, and it's just so good. It's a comfort food to us. But my tortillas that I buy for Shayna, I took them out and they smelled rancid. So I thought, okay, we're still making this up as we go along. So these are going to go out, and I have, oh, that was my dog. Are you okay, Tootsie Roll? I hope so. I have some organic tortilla chips. So we're going to still make kind of the same thing, except we're going to make nachos out of them. So this is how you get together and make a meal out of what you have. Oh, and I forgot, in my pinto beans and beef, I've got a little bit of rotel tomatoes left from the other day. That's going to go in there too. So let's get started. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I've got a quart jar of my home canned pinto beans. And I have onion in there, and I have some ham bits, because that's the way we like it. So I'm just going to put that in a pan. And lots of spices, including cumin, because that's how we make our pinto beans. How my mama taught me, my grandma taught me. And that's the way we like it. Alright, so I have my pinto beans, and I just pour the can of my home canned beef right in with it. And this was raw packed. And this was my oldest jar, so it gets used first. So I'm just going to kind of break that up. And then I have this little bit of rotel tomatoes. That's going right in there too. So I'm just going to stir it all together. And put this one on to heat. And I've opened a can of my refried beans. And again, I could take one of my home canned and make refried beans, but I keep these on hand for when Shayna wants to make chalupas. So that's what we're using tonight. Now normally I would just heat these up like this to spread on chalupas, but I don't have any chalupa shells, so I'm going to thin this out a little bit. Probably just add a little water to it just to make it not, I don't want it a spreadable consistency, I want it more that I can just kind of pour over the top. So I'm going to put some water in there and get that cooking. And in the meantime, I have chopped up an onion and grated a whole bunch of cheese. So let me bring you back when I'm putting stuff together. Alright, let's put these nachos together. I've got the refried beans heating up, and I thinned them with water, and then I added a little bit of granulated garlic, because you never have too much garlic. And I'm putting this together out of what I had available. So there's a whole bunch of broken chips, but I don't care. It's going to be fine. Let's see what that looks like. I don't want them spread out too much. I want a little bit of coverage so that it doesn't all stick to the parchment paper. So we're just going to pour it all in there. Now I'm going to get the refried beans. And Tootsie Roll, no, you don't get any. So I'm just going to kind of scatter this over the top, because you can't really spread it. And I could use some of my Wolf brand chili on this, but I think this is going to be good just by itself. But you can put whatever you want on your nachos. Make them what you like. Alright. Now, I have kind of a mountain of cheese, and some of this will be for the beef and bean soft tacos, but we're going to put a pretty good layer on here. And I don't know what I'd do without my official cheese grater, Shayna, because she does this for me. And when she's not here to do it, I really miss it. Because you never have too much cheese on nachos. Okay. To the side. And then I've got all this chopped up onions. So we love onions on it, so I'm going to put a pretty good amount. And this is what we would do if we were eating chalupas. So it's kind of the same thing, just different. So I'm going to stick this in the oven and let this get all nice and hot and melty. And then in the meantime, I have an avocado that I'm going to cut up. And I have my home canned salsa and sour cream. So anything we want on there, we've got it. And it all came out of my pantry at a minute's notice. So let me put this in the oven, get these melted, and then I'll bring you back to put everything together. Well, I've got my nachos are almost done. I'm gonna heat up a flour tortilla on my comal or griddle. Okay, so I have my hot tortilla. I'm gonna put some of the beans and beef on it. Little bit of onion, or a lot, depending on what you like. Some cheese. And let me get the nachos out. That's a big tray of nachos. Okay, I've got that. Now I'm going to add some of my home canned salsa to everything, just because it's good. We're gonna put some avocado on there. I didn't feel like making guacamole. And maybe I'll put a little bit of sour cream in here. Just a little. I don't want too much. And there you go, Mrs. Lori. Here's an answer to your challenge. So I'm gonna have a taste. And I'll probably regret this because I'll get it all over me. Tex-Mex food. On the fly. Out of the pantry. With a challenge. So good. So there you go, Mrs. Lori. Here's my answer to your challenge, Tex-Mex style. And if you haven't checked out Mrs. Lori at Whipporwill Holler, please do. She's an awesome lady. I've come to love her so much. And she has some wonderful stuff to share. So I want to thank you for watching, and if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share. But thank you for watching, and thank you for visiting Vickie's Country Home, and we'll talk again soon.